Hello, welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I'm working on 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life and also all about the mouse pop. And we have a prompt for all about the mouse. This photo up here, I'm going to post up here in the corner for you so that you can take a look at our inspiration prompt. And when I saw it, the first thing I said was pink elephants, and it reminded me of Dumbo. So I have this photo of my kids posing with the Dumbo, and I thought it was a cute picture, and I printed it. I think it's about 5 by 5 right there. The product that I am using is Simple Stories Say Cheese Magic 6 by 8 paper pad and the foam phrases. So today is day 2 of 30 Days of Sketches, and we have this beautiful little sketch here from Scrappy Sisters. It was created by Katie, and I will have their YouTube listed down below for you, as well as a playlist for both 30 Days of Sketches and all about the mouse. My background paper is going to be a pre-made Vicky Booten background paper. This is from her Let's Wander mixed media paper pad, and I still have quite a bit of it left, and I think I actually have all 3 of these sheets in it, so it'll be great to use one of those up. And if you looked in that sketch really closely here, you see that it looks like it has some wonderful mixed media back here. It also has 2 photos. I'm going to be pulling mine down and just doing one, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to pause. We're going to get started, and I will be right back. So the first thing I'm going to do is take that strip off the top from the paper pad. I just pulled the whole thing out. I really love this mixed media background, and of course I could absolutely make it myself. I know how to do that, but you know, I purchased these, so it is definitely time for me to get some of these used. So I'm gonna dig through the 6 by 8 paper pad. I knew for sure that I wanted those 2 sheets, and then I thought maybe I would use this light pink with the red dots to map my photos. I also thought maybe I might put a 3 by 4 pocket card in instead of having 2 photos, but in the end I really didn't see one in the pack that I wanted to use. And honestly, my photo is large enough to take up all of the space that the 2 photos would take, so we're just going to go with the 1 photo. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 3 1/2-inch strips off the 8-inch side of this 6 by 8 piece of paper. I'm going to take one of those 1/2-inch strips, because they are now 1/2 inch by 8, and I'm going to cut it in half. That way I have 2 full 12-inch borders, and I'm going to add a 12-inch border to the top and bottom. First off, though, I'm going to cut out this half Mickey head. He's really cute on this side, but I am going to flip him over, and I'm going to use the other side. So I'm just going to cut him out. This fussy cutting does not take very long, and I think I discussed fussy cutting and left-handed people on a video last Friday. If you wanted to go back and watch that video, you're welcome. I have a few tips or a few observations that I have made as a left-handed scrapbooker. And you know, everybody thinks that cutting or writing or drawing, etc., with the left hand is just the same as it is with the right hand. It's actually not. And one of those reasons is because as a left-handed person, I tend to cover up my workspace with my left hand, and I really can't see over it. And it's something that I am very used to, you know, because I've always been left-handed. But for a right-handed person to say, well, I do it this way, and expect it to work for somebody who's left-handed doesn't always work well. We do things differently. We think differently than right-handed people. Not better, just differently. And so you know, in this case, as I said in my video on Friday, the fussy cutting, I alternate between turning my scissors and turning my paper, and that works well for me. So I'm going to put down my product on and my photo onto this background. As I said, I'm going to flip over that black Mickey head, and we're going to have it so that it's on the left hand side. I've laid down my title, and now I'm just going to pull in some of these foam heart stickers and just kind of alternate them in various places. I am going to warn you, there is going to be some hand stitching going on in this layout. I'll do a little bit of it on camera, but I'm not going to do it all on camera. Fortunately, I'm only going to do a little tiny bit, and I'm hoping that it will show up well. As I mentioned, being left-handed, I tend to cover my space just a little bit. So here I've got my pokey tool out, my paper piercer, and my foam pad, and I'm going to get started with the poking. So you can kind of see what I meant by covering up the paper as I work. So that's one of the reasons it is really very hard for me to show you on camera how I hand stitch. But I'm poking the holes with my paper piercer, and I am freehanding them. There are no lines drawn on here at all. I do pretty well with just guessing the length of the stitches. I mean, if you got a ruler and measured them, they're not going to be even, but I eyeball it fairly well. And I'm going around the ear and the whole head, making sure that I have a pretty decent margin. It's probably roughly about 1/8 of an inch in where I'm poking, so you can kind of see my little holes there. They're pretty even. And I'm just going to go right to the very edge of the photo mat and my foam title, and that gets that done. The next thing I'm going to do is I decided I wanted to hand stitch a heart. I felt like that there needed to be another heart down there on the bottom with those two little foam hearts, and this is a little bit difficult because it's raised, and that means that it's harder for me to poke the holes. So I just used my close to my heart ruler. It's got a heart pattern and it's got some other shape patterns on it as well to kind of get the stitching down, or the holes down, and then I repoked them. So here is one of my 4 boxes of floss. I have them arranged by color, not by number. I do have extras of every one of these colors in photo boxes in a shelf behind me. I've chosen my color, and now I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle and get to stitching. I'm going to show you just a little bit of stitching on camera, and I'm going to slow the video back down at this point. All right, so I am one of those people who actually knots her needle. I don't mind that. It's going to be on the back of the layout, so it doesn't really make that big of a difference. I decided I'd go ahead and bring in my wet glue just a little bit and tack some of this down, and that'll dry while I stitch the little heart on camera, and that's the piece I'm going to stitch. I'm only going to use 3 pieces of the floss to stitch the heart. On the Mickey head, I am actually going to use all 6. And I personally prefer that look, but this piece of thread was already on the floss bobbin, and I just wanted to make sure that it got used. So what you do is you start in one hole, and you go up with your needle, and then you go to the next hole, and you go down, and then you go back behind it, and this is called a back stitch. And I hope that you can kind of see what I'm doing. That's why I slowed the video back down, and it's just a really easy stitch to learn, and it looks nice. There is another way to do it, but this is my preferred way to create this stitch. You can go through like a line and stitch every other hole, and then when you get to the end of it, you go back and you stitch the holes that you didn't stitch the first time, and it still looks virtually the same. I am very fast at a back stitch. I have been doing a back stitch since I was a teenager. I spent most of my first pregnancy in bed, and one of the things that I did was I embroidered using a back stitch, and I made an entire set of quilt blocks for that baby, which turned out to be a boy, and the quilt blocks that I made were girly. So we didn't actually use those quilt blocks for him. But by the time we found out that he was a boy, I found a cross stitch pattern and I made him a different blanket. And so he did get an embroidered blanket for Mama, but he just didn't get the one with the kitties. I did finish those blocks during that pregnancy, but my mom, who was a quilter, did not put them together until my 5th child, who was a girl. And we still have that blanket. It's in her closet in what is now the guest room since she has moved out of the home, but I still have that quilt. And my mom recently showed me some extra quilt blocks that didn't get put into the quilt at the time, and that was kind of fun. She said she's going to make some throw pillows for my other daughter to put on her couch, so we'll see if she actually gets those done. They're really cute. I think it's just a fun thing for my girls to have something from their mom. So I finished up that stitching, I knotted it on the back, and I'm cutting it off. The rest of that little string I'll throw away. Okay, I got this layout completely finished. Now, if you're new here, you probably already know that I journal on just about every layout that I create. And there's no journaling on this one, and that is because this is part of a Disney album, which will have many layouts with lots of journaling on it, and I just don't feel like this one really needs much. I might go in and put which park we're at here, and that's it. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I really love the look of this stitching on the half Mickey head. I really feel like that makes the layout. I love that I also added another little stitched heart down here by the 2 foam hearts that I think really draws your eyes across the page really well. And then I've got the blue here and here and here. So we've got that visual triangle going on for you. And that is just about it. Please make sure that you check out that description box below my video so that you can watch both playlists for All About the Mouth and and the 30 Days of Sketches. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe to my channel. Without your help, I can't grow this channel, and I really appreciate it when you do that. And your comments almost always make my day. So thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you next time. Bye.